Am I the asshole for telling my SIL that I will call the cops for child abandonment the moment she steps out of the house? Me, 25 male, my brother Jack, 27 male, and his wife Jill, 25 female. It all started when Jack and Jill got pregnant. Their lease almost ended and my parents invited them to stay at our house. The day they came, Jack asked me why I haven't moved out of my room yet. I was confused, like what a fuck, and he told me that he and Jill will be at my room and I go to guest room. I refused, but my parents got mad, we got into a fight, I lost and ended in much smaller guest room. Then Jill had a problem with my cooking. I eat scrambled eggs with mozzarella and avocado every day for breakfast and she couldn't stand the smell. She asked me to stop, I refused, my parents got involved, I had to stop. There were problems with other food too, and I had to stop cooking them. I was told I must be more accommodating cause she pregnant. Like that is my problem. Then Jill started to boss me around. We were alone for 8 hours while my parents and Jack worked. She obviously thought I will be her personal maid. I refused, she threw a temper tantrum, like always, and I again had big fight with Jack and my parents. I was told that she had a high-risk pregnancy and was on bed rest, and I'm an asshole for not helping her. I told Jack that he knocked her up, it's his responsibility. I stood my ground and in the end Jill's cousin came to help her sometimes. Then Jill gave birth to my nephew. I congratulated them when they came home, and that is it. I don't like babies, so I mostly keep for myself now. But that doesn't stop Jill to ask for favors. Please watch the baby while I take quick shower, please watch it while I make myself some food, etc. I always refuse and we all have new fights over and over again. It all came to head last Friday when she asked me to watch my nephew while she goes to pharmacy for baby formula. I refused, she got mad and we had a fight. She grabbed her purse to go anyway and I told her, that the moment she walks out that door I will call the police for child abandonment. I was serious and she knew it. She broke down and screamed what a horrible human being I am, then she ran to her room. She had complete mental breakdown. When Jack and my parents came home we had the biggest fight yet. Jack accused me of hating Jill and my nephew, upon other things. I told him I refuse to bond because they will weaponize him against me. My parents told me enough is enough. That they can't believe they raised such a selfish human being. And that either I help or I move out. I'm thinking of second option. Am I the asshole? Edit. I work from home and pay 50% of all household expenses, including mortgage. Jack and Jill don't contribute anything for expenses. This sounds like a super shitty situation in general. Not enough information. Why can't Jill take the baby with her on her errands? Why do you still live at home and how much rent do you pay? How much rent do Jack and Jill pay? Edit. So based on original poster's response, Jill just doesn't want to parent her child all day. They pay nothing toward the house, and treat original poster like shit. In your shoes, original poster, I might, maybe, sometimes watch the kid while a parent grabs a shower. I would not, however, be free in-house babysitting under any circumstances barring a genuine emergency. The way they seem to treat you though, I can't say I'd blame you if you just refuse outright. As long as this has been made clear to everyone, not the asshole. I am major contributor. Jack and Jill pay zero, Jill doesn't work. I wanted to stay home and take care of my parents when they are old. I will never have a partner and children, because reasons, so taking care of my parents was the plan. The moment I move out they will have problems paying for mortgage and all other expenses. Entitled princess will probably have to go back to work. Then move out, then your parents would see they need you. Even if you move back in after a few months. Also you say you pay mortgage, is the house under your name too? Cause if not make sure it is if you gonna keep paying. Your brother and Sil sound like they would want the house should anything happen to your parents. The moment I move out our relationship will end. It's easier said than done. I don't think even my parents expect me to actually do it. I just contribute, nothing is in my name. Dude, you're gonna spend your life providing for your parents and paying half their mortgage only for them to die and leave the house to your brother because he has a family so he needs it more, and then find yourself evicted by said brother because his family needs the space. Stop putting your money into something that isn't yours and maybe look into some sessions with a therapist to help you work through the feelings that have you willing to live in complete discomfort for the sake of maintaining a one-sided relationship with your family. And do not doubt that it is one-sided, you're setting yourself on fire to keep them warm. Edit. Thank you for the awards. This is exactly what is going to happen in the future. Always take care of yourself first. And, after all that, they will leave the brother, Sil, and nephew the house, since nothing is in his name. The amount of YTA's op is a paying tenant in this house. He has no obligation whatsoever to watch this child. Not the asshole. AITA. Would you give the same response if original poster was just a roommate? No. The sister-in-law is not entitled to original poster's time, ever. Most of the YTAs probably haven't read original poster's comment. Quite a few have and just doubled down and said that original poster should just suck it up. Absolute dickish opinions. I remember a post a week or two back, where someone literally dumped their kid on the doorstep and ran, and everyone said original poster wasn't the asshole, and they should call the CPS. Kinda surprised by how many YTAs there's been here. Greater than she obviously thought I will be her personal maid. You know that's why your parents moved them in, right? It's why you lost your room and lose every right besides doing what Jill wants. Greater than she asked me to watch my nephew while she goes to pharmacy for baby formula. While I'll say it's normal for new parents to want a moment alone, you're not guaranteed to get it, nor do you have a right to expect others to provide it. She was capable of taking the baby with her. She may be suffering from PPD. That said, you are not the cause, nor the solution. Greater than my parents told me enough is enough. That they can't believe they raised such a selfish human being. This is from the people who helped kick you out of your room, forbid you from eating what you want, and force you to be a servant. Greater than in that either I help or I move out. I'm thinking of second option. Lol fucking good, do it. Let mom and dad take care of her if they're so concerned. Any money they get tired of it and kick them out too, or within a month they are begging you to come back. Not the asshole. 100% agreed. A lot of people are saying YTA, but like, how would you feel if you were being kicked from your room because your sibling and their spouse moved in and didn't want the guest room? People should be able to eat what they want, so if her SIL had a problem she could have left the area or burned candles or just sucked it up. Just because it's the op parent's house doesn't mean they get to control everything and make op feel uncomfortable in a safe space. Not everyone likes babies, so she should have to deal with one if she doesn't want to. People have boundaries and everyone should respect it. Dude, I don't think that you're an asshole, but you are a bit dramatic, and I am too. So here's what you should do. Move out and stop paying for everything. See how your family reacts when half of the money is gone. Not the asshole. How is original poster still paying 50% when there's like 6 humans living in that house? Yeah, his share of the bills should have been renegotiated when the brother moved in. If it was ever brought up, I bet they were like, oh well, he has a kid and Jill can't work because she's pregnant, so we really can't expect them to pay. I was going to say you are the asshole, and then I read your comment that you pay half of the bills. Now I say not the asshole. But you're 25 years old now. It's time to call their bluff. It's time to tell them, great news. I found my own place. I'll be moving there and I'll discontinue paying the bills here, because I won't be living here. And I expect my mortgage contributions to be paid back since I've been evicted from my own room in a home that I was paying for, and I'll sue and win if you don't come to the table amicably about this. Then all y'all can get out of my house. The parents conned original poster into helping with the mortgage and then downgraded your share of original poster's investment. Not the asshole. Original poster's a tenant, and the courts would not award them any equity in the house. Without a lease guaranteeing that room, they're Saul. Best to just cut their losses and move out. You should move out. Everybody sounds awful. I'm more sympathetic to op because I was in a situation where I was older, covered the bills of the home, and I was often left without notice for long hours, sometimes days, taking care of elderly or children that I had not agreed to, and for PPL who refused to make alternative arrangements because no one thought I had a right to say no because I was single and childless in a general doormat. It doesn't make a difference who is right or wrong. Move out. You don't want to do it and it is not your responsibility. And that is enough. Yay, an ops edit has me thinking they don't expect him to call their bluff. Move out original poster, and then watch as they start singing a different tune once half the bills go unpaid. Move out and commit yourself to being on your own. Please. I know a lot of the comments are talking about getting back at them. But really, based on this discussion, these are PPL who don't understand boundaries and never will. Going back should never be on the cards. I'll get downvoted, but not the asshole. You cover a chunk of the bills for your parents and Jack and Jill don't pay towards the house at all. It sounds like they have bitten off way more than they can chew having a baby right now and now expect you to pick up the slack. She could take the baby with her to the store, or she can pay for a babysitter. Your brother can also learn to step up as a father to his child and make sure the groceries, including formula, is stocked. But this expectation that you will fill in the cracks in their parenting while you already are making financial contributions that allow them to live rent-free is wildly unfair. Would it be nice for you to help out on occasion? Sure. But then they need to treat you with respect, not just throw a temper tantrum when you don't want to fill a third parent role and take on baby responsibilities for a child that isn't yours. Not the asshole, and why are you still there? I'd have moved out when I lost the fight about staying in my own room. If money precludes that, and is certainly a possibility, I'd be spending all of my time except sleeping out of the house. At this point, they've won, and they know it. They've known it since that first day. You either acquiesce to each demand or you leave. ETA. I know with certainty my not the asshole will be lonesome. If he has enough money to pay half of the expenses for a 5-person household including mortgage, he can almost certainly get himself a 1-bedroom apartment. Original poster says elsewhere in a comment that part of the plan was to be around for the parents in retirement. He'll never marry, have kids IIRC, for reasons, so he's been paying 50% of mortgage and bills accordingly. And I agree. At this point, his parents have told him in no uncertain terms that whatever plans might have been made have changed. He needs to leave, and to take all of his money with him. And I guarantee his family will call him heartless when he does that. Move out, take your money with you. That edit. Damn. Family gonna be begging original poster to come back when the bills come due. Y'all are wild in these comments. It is not his responsibility to care for someone else's child or to give them respite. It is his brother's job to care for Jill and their child. Whether he lives in this home with his parents or not, the responsibility of the child falls on the infant's parents. To call him entitled because he refuses to be weaponized into being an unpaid nanny is so weird. Why couldn't Jill or her actual husband bring the baby to get formula? Not the asshole. He isn't even an unpaid nanny, it's worse than that. He is paying 50% and Jack and Jill aren't paying at all. That kind of means he is paying to be the nanny, for both the baby and Jill since she clearly needs one. From what you have said in your update and comments, you would be financially better moving out. It is totally unreasonable for you to be expected to pay 50% of the bills when there are 5 adults in the house. Not enough information. Do you have a job? Do you pay rent to your parents? Do Jack, Jill, edit. Not the asshole. However, if you're on the mortgage, there should have been discussions with both you and your parents, you should have had at least some degree of veto power and you shouldn't have had to move to a smaller room to accommodate them. It does not seem as though a move-out date has even been discussed. If you're not on the mortgage, the same thing applies, but that also means you've effectively been paying their mortgage, not earning credit of your own. Judging by this post, if something happened to your parents, God forbid, I doubt your parents would take your mortgage contributions into account when dividing their estate. You said your parents would have trouble paying the mortgage without you, and that you want to take care of them. That's always been your plan. However, I'd recommend basically saying that either a timeline is decided for Jack, Jill's departure and boundaries or reevaluated, or you move out. Honestly, by your post it sounds like they're living in a 3-bedroom house still, and maybe it's time for them to downgrade to a smaller property. Or maybe they should look into getting a tenant for your vacated bedroom. It's admirable that you want to take care of your parents, but you need to take care of yourself too. Especially when, judging by this post, your parents don't seem to appreciate all that you've done for them over the years, since they're repeatedly taking your brother's side. You'll notice that a lot of commenters initially thought you were not contributing to the household and not employed. Of course, it might have been best to put that in the original post, but the reason so many people jump to that conclusion is that Jack, Jill and your parents are treating you like an unemployed child, not a grown man paying half the mortgage. Your parents moving them in without any discussion on your part, you being forced into a smaller bedroom, you having to hide out in your room, Jill trying to get you to babysit during what are presumably your work hours, you being told what you can and can't cook, you being called immature, selfish. It doesn't sound like you're mooching off them, and yet the rest of your family is treating it as though you are. There's a difference between taking care of your family and letting them treat you like a teenager with no voice as to the running of the household when you're supporting the household. Yes, see my other comments. You should really add this to the original post, because it reads as a 25-yo sitting around at home leeching off his parents. You wrote this wrong. You should have started with the fact that you pay 1/2 the bills while Jack and Jill pay nothing. This changes things a bit. I can understand Jill's sensitivity to food smells. I had that when I was pregnant. I was also extremely sick and needy the whole time. Asking you to keep an eye on baby for the amount of time it takes to bath or run to the store doesn't seem outrageous. Jack and Jill obviously need the bigger room because they have a baby. All of this makes it sound like YTA. But, knowing you pay 1/2 the bills while they contribute nothing whilst also crowding you out of your own home has persuaded me that you are not the asshole. Sounds like you will need to find a place of your own to have the peace you crave. Not the asshole, and I'm thinking it's time to move out. I'm assuming if you're paying 50% of the expenses, including those for your brother and his family, since you said they don't pay any, then you likely have enough to get your own place. If your parents can't afford to live the life they currently do, then that's their own fault for allowing your brother to move his family in and treating you like a doormat. After reading your comments, hard not the asshole. You pay 50% of all expenses and WFH. You got kicked out of your room, and forced to live a detrimental life. Is it kind of an asshole thing to not watch the kid? Kind of. But that goes 2 ways. YP your brother and his family live off of you and then force you into discomfort. I would do the same probably.